what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing the what's next on former 3-time world title challenger Sergey Derevyanchenko, as after following his very close fight of the year, controversial decision loss to Jaime Munguia as they fought on June 10th in the main event of a DAZN card at 168-pound super middleweight. Now, before we go any further, if you guys could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I try to build my channel up here. Just trying to do what I can to get get all my viewership up and all that stuff. And if you don't like what I'm doing, you could always give me a thumbs down, and you could always give me a thumbs down, or leave a comment, let me know why you don't like what I'm doing. I'm all about it. Anyways, back to the fight. So, Derevyanchenko, he fought his ass off again. Another one, 37 years old, taking on a 26-year-old fighter. And he goes out there and just, for the fight to even be close, in my opinion, it just shows how much heart and how good this guy is. Now, granted, I mean, you want, in all honesty, the dude's only had I think that was his 15th professional fight, or no, that was his 19th. I think he's 14-5. So he hasn't had a long professional career, but that just means he had a shitload of amateur fights. But the dude is just a beast. He's always going to be a fucking beast. He's never going to be an easy out for anybody. And maybe Munguia was overlooking him a little bit. But now the big question is, what's next for Derevyanchenko following that loss? Now, I believe he should stay at 168. What would be the point in moving back down to 160? Even though he could probably make the weight, he always comes in great shape. But at his age, why not fight at 168 when you just proved you could? And I think he's options for a lot of guys to test against to see if they belong on that next level. He's definitely kind of that gatekeeper mode. But I think first and foremost, a rematch with fucking Jaime Munguia has to be on the table. And that should be what he pushes for hard. Because this was a fight of the year candidate. It's not like this was just a pushover fight. This was a fight of the year candidate. And a lot of people believe he should have won that fight. So, I know he got knocked down in the 12th, and that was the difference technically. But there was a lot of people that thought he should have won that fight, and it was close. So I believe he deserves a rematch with Munguia. But we're going to run through the rest of the top 10 to see what's possible at 168 for Sergey Derevyanchenko. Real quick, though, at 160, I'm going to do what I did with Munguia, and I'm going to look at the guys at 160 that potentially could make sense depending on if he's truly a free agent or not. So, I don't know if Derevyanchenko's a free agent or not. I know he was with the PBC at one point, and then he just fought with DAZN. So, if he's a free agent, he can pretty much fight wherever. A Triple G rematch is not going to happen. It doesn't make sense for Triple G. Charlo's not going to happen. He looks to be in line for Canelo. A rematch with Carlos Adames, that would be nice, especially after what just happened, and especially after the way he looked. His fight with Adames ended on a split decision. That was a very close fight. And if Adames gets a crack at, or becomes the WBC middleweight champion, why not rematch with Derevyanchenko? Especially if he doesn't have any other big name options at 160. But we'll see. But I do think that is an option. Janibek Alimkhanuly for the WBO title would be big if he could get the fight. But I think Janibek is either focused on Liam Smith or unification with the Esquiva Falchao, because he is with Top Rank. Chris Eubank, not likely. Arizlandi Lara looks to be, he's going to fight Danny Garcia and then have to make a mandatory against Michael Zarafa. So that doesn't look likely. And then, Felix Cash and Esquiva Falchao, I just don't see those being options. So 168 looks to be the weight class. So we start with Canelo Alvarez. Not going to happen. Canelo's just signed a 3-fight deal with the PBC, and Derevyanchenko is just not a name on his level that he's going to want. David Benavidez, PBC guy, not likely, unless Benavidez and Canelo are going to happen in September of next year, and maybe May of next year Benavidez wants him. But again, it's not going to happen next because Benavidez is going to fight Morrell. So, not likely. John Ryder. Now, here's the thing. If he's a free agent, Derevyanchenko, and John Ryder's coming off a loss also to Canelo, and Derevyanchenko and what's his name doesn't get it, why not, you know, if Munguia doesn't give Derevyanchenko a rematch, why not Derevyanchenko and John Ryder? That would be a good one, in my opinion. I think that'd be a chucker right there. So I think that fight makes a lot of sense for both guys coming off of losses. So I think that fight makes a lot of sense. So I think that is a real possibility. Caleb Plant, not likely. Well, I mean, again, it depends on if he's a free agent or not. If the PBC offers him enough money to go back, and Caleb Plant's coming off that loss anyways at David Benavidez, why not? You know, I think that fight makes a lot of sense. So I could see those two guys locking horns. Daniel Jacobs, not a rematch with Daniel Jacobs, not likely. Jacobs not going to want Derevyanchenko as a comeback opponent when, especially when he's been out for damn near a year and a half now. Demetrius Andrade, again, depends on what happens with the PBC and who's fighting who. I could see Andrade and Derevyanchenko locking it up if Derevyanchenko's a free agent and goes back to the PBC, and Andrade doesn't get like Caleb Plant next. I could see Andrade like, hey, give me Derevyanchenko, I'll fight him. But we got to see. Then you got David Morrell, not likely. Morrell looks like he's fighting David Benavidez next. Vladimir Shishkin, you know, it depends on where Derevyanchenko is. I think Shishkin's going to be floating around the PBC options for, you know, fighters now that Canelo is signed over there. Not that he would have a shot at Canelo, but I think he's on the table for some of the other guys. So I think it's less likely. But again, it depends on Derevyanchenko's a free agent or not and what's available and what could happen. Anthony Durrell, if he really is not retired and wants to come back and fight, I don't know if he wants a guy like Derevyanchenko, but if Derevyanchenko's available and Durrell wants to make a statement, maybe. And then Edgar Berlanga. Well, if Derevyanchenko is with the zone, then I could see him potentially, you know, wanting to test himself to say, hey, I'm better than Munguia, and he's fighting Quigley next month, is Berlanga in his debut with Matchroom. So I could see him saying, hey, I'll fight Derevyanchenko next, bring him over here. So, you know, I think that's possible. So Derevyanchenko, if he's a free agent, he pretty much is one of those gatekeeper type guys that you want to fight to test yourself again to see how good you really are. So I think there's a lot of options for him. But even if it's just with the zone, I could see a Munguia rematch. I could see a John Ryder. I could see Edgar Berlanga. All three top 10 guys that would be willing to fight him. And if it's the PBC, then I could see, you know, Caleb Plant, Vladimir Shishkin, you know, those guys wanting to fight him. So I think Derevyanchenko is set up nicely to fight a top name fighter next. And even if he moves down to 160, I think maybe Carlos Adames might be interested in a rematch. So we'll just wait and see what happens. But that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on former 3-time world title challenger Sergey Derevyanchenko following his controversial fight of the year decision loss to Jaime Munguia. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.